What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to Space Invaders TV. I'm your host, Rashawn, aka Looker. Today is December the 1st, Wednesday, December the 1st, 2021. I want to say welcome to you all. I hope you all had a great Thanksgiving holiday um, and spend time with your family and just actually gave thanks for what you have, not what you don't have, what you have. Just be thankful. Just be thankful. Because so many things are going on in the world today. It's just so many things. It's senseless killings just going on. You just gotta be thankful for family that you have and that you're in contact with, that you can speak with every day. You know, just be thankful, man, because life is really short and you just never know. You know, people are going through so much. You know, and I don't know. You know, if it's I don't want to give a excuse, but you know, I don't know if it's the pressures and the stress of the pandemic or what, but there's a lot of senseless killing going on. It just needs to stop. You know, people really need to get the help that they need. Um, we really gotta tap in with our family, with our friends and peers that we may, if we know that they're actually going through something mentally, we really need to tap in with them. You know, because I don't know what it is. I mean, you know, people just need someone to talk to, or they may feel like they don't know where to turn to. I don't really know what it is. You know, I mean I could sit here all day and speculate what it can be, but all I know is one thing is for sure, man. Make sure that you're telling your people, your family, when you speak to them, make sure you let them know that you love them. If they're on your mind, make sure you call them and tap in with them, check on them, because life is really short. But we all know what we're here for. I want to say peace and blessings on y'all. Welcome back to the page. Welcome back to my subscribers. If you're new to the page, welcome. I keep saying page. I do that all the time. Welcome to the channel. If you're new, what we do here at Space Invaders, we touch on local, national, and world current events and news. We don't do entertainment news over here, unless the entertainer has something to do with, you know, you know, regular, you know, our current events. I don't do the entertainment news. Um, this channel is all about each one teach one. I encourage you all that anything that I may say, even if I'm wrong, check me in the comments, correct me. I have no problem with that. You know, this is an adult channel here. We talk adult talk, real topics, no kiddie stuff. You know, and I just wanted to be an open platform for people, you know, with like minds. And I not saying that everything that I present to you guys is Bible, but whatever I present, if it's I make sure I do my research before I sit down and bring anything to you guys. So if I'm wrong somewhere, by all means, please check me. Let me know. Correct me. Get me right. You know, just that's what it's about here. We sharing information, and um, if I'm presenting something wrong, you let me know so I can correct myself. You know, and the next time. You know, um, but I always try to make sure I dot my I's and cross my T's before I bring it to you guys. So we just gonna go in right now, and you see what the title is. There was a shooting on November the 30th, on the afternoon of November the 30th, 2021, which was Tuesday, in Oakland County, Oxford High School, in Oxford, Michigan. Um, as of yesterday, there were three students killed and 8 injured, including a teacher. As of today, December the 1st, um, they were confirmed that one other student had passed away, and it's a 17-year-old student. It's just a sad thing. But before we go in, I want to share something with you from everytownresearch.org. And it's speaking on a gunfire on school grounds in the United States. In 2021, there were at least 144 incidents of gunfire on school grounds, resulting in 28 deaths and 86 injuries nationally in 2021. In 2021, think about that, ladies and gentlemen. The whole entire majority of 2020, school kids were doing remote learning. I want y'all to think about that. Okay? So this school year here, you have a total of 144 incidents of gunfire, 28 deaths, 86 injuries. So it's safe to say that if we had 144 incidents of gunfire, we're just going to say it's safe to say that it was 144 guns inside of the schools, on school grounds. Just think about that. So we're going to move on right now, right? And I want to talk about something here. So the Oxford, it was a 15-year-old kid down in Oxford, Michigan. 15-year-old sophomore student at Oxford. He's 15 years old, so his name is not, public. They're not putting it out there because he's still a juvenile. A 15-year-old sophomore student at Oxford High School kills 3 students, injures 8, one being an adult. That was on Tuesday. Now the death toll is at 4, because just today, December the 1st, 2021, it was confirmed that another student, a 17-year-old student, was killed. He died as well, I should say, sorry. The 15-year-old brought a semi-automatic weapon to the school. You don't know if the student was being bullied or just had some mental health issues. We don't know if it was said that it wasn't said the dad bought the gun for the child, for the 15-year-old student on November the 27th, okay? And the shooting happened noon, Tuesday, November the 30th. As I said before, because of the age of the student, they haven't revealed the name of him. His parents so far have hired an attorney. Authorities also stated that authorities there in Oxford, Michigan, also stated in a press conference that they have the 15-year-old kid on suicide watch, and every 15 minutes they're checking in on him. The students that were killed, you had I don't want to reveal their names. You can look them up. They still juvenile. I just want to save face of them. I know the media has put them out there. I don't want to put, their names. You may see the names in the pictures that I share in the beginning of this program, but I don't want to put their names out there. There was a 16-year-old male who died on the way to the hospital on November the 30th. A sheriff officer put him inside a vehicle, and before they made it to the hospital, that young man passed away. He had a 14-year-old female. she passed away as well. It was a 17-year-old female that was killed. Two 17-year-olds, and there was a 17-year-old male. He had passed away today. Just a sad situation. And I mean, before I even go on, I want to say peace and blessings. Peace be with the souls of those young children. Peace and blessings, and may, the Most High cover those families and everyone in that community. All the children mentally. I hope that they get the counseling that they need, and not just for the remainder of this year. I hope that they continue to get the counseling that they need, because and that they will need in the future, because that is real serious and heavy. It's heavy. As I said, yes, the young man, the 15-year-old shooter, he was apprehended. He went, without no fatalities. He surrendered peacefully with no other threats. He pretty much, when the police stormed the building and everything, when they stormed the high school, Oxford High School in Oxford, Michigan, it was said from multiple sources that when the police spotted him in the hallway, he had the rifle, he dropped it and threw his hands up, and they rushed in, and they dragged him out. So he surrendered peacefully. The 15-year-old shooter has been charged as an adult with attempted murder and terrorism causing death. There's also been talks of they're really trying to bring charges upon his parents as well, the 15-year-old parents, that his father purchased a 9mm semi-assault weapon. So they're trying to bring charges, and they're pursuing charges be brought upon the parents of that 15-year-old. What's next to happen? They're still gathering all the information. The young boy that the shooter hasn't spoken. He wanted to have a lawyer present. It hasn't been said if they actually obtained a lawyer or what. It was said that the parents were seeking an attorney. So I don't know if they actually obtained them or not. If anyone knows that's in the area or know more about the story, tap in and let us know in the comments below this video. But as of right now, authorities are still trying to, it's developing. The story is still developing to find out what was the motive. Authorities are asking students or faculty if they know anything to share it with them. But then also at the same time, authorities are saying hearsay shouldn't be a source to go by. School officials also informed the authorities that just before the shooting took place, that the 15-year-old responsible for the terrorist act, his parents were summoned to come to the school just before this incident happened. Before this shooting ever even took place or anything, his parents already had been notified for whatever incident that had took place prior. They were notified that they needed to come to the school that very same day to have a talk with school officials. They didn't really explain why or what happened, what have you, that the school officials wanted to speak to his parents. And this is all before the shooting now. Before this shooting, before anybody knew, before any guns were pulled, any of that, the parents have already prior been notified to come, because I guess the school had an issue with their son previously. So, okay. So even so, watching the local news reports there was a student who spoke to local media there and let them know that it was things happening that led up to this event. there was a deer head or something cut and thrown off the roof of Oxford High School. Prior to this, the school superintendent, there were threats on the school the school principal. Sorry, not the school superintendent. There were threats on the school's principal, Oxford High School principal. Uh, there were threats on his life. Um, this was all reported from a student, a senior at Oxford High School. As I was watching their local news and getting and gathering information, um, there was many events leading up to this, and like the student also had made mention during an interview. It was one student, a senior from Oxford High School. He made mention that um, there's always been threats around that school about and kids making threats about they're gonna shoot up the school and things of that nature. But I guess this time a lot of the students took it serious, and so much so that some students didn't even come to school on November the 30th because they felt something was going to happen. So it was some students that didn't even show up. Mind you, Oxford High School has 1,700 students, and you know, so and it is a lot of things that ring with me, and I'm saying so. No faculty or staff members in the school didn't hear what these students had heard prior. Nobody took that serious. Um, Maybe you could have kept everybody home. You know, this could have been prevented on a lot of levels, and we'll break it down after a while. Let me run through this here. So once again, my thoughts are as follow, right? My thoughts are this: that the 15-year-old, his parents, the 15-year-old shooter that killed 4 students at Oxford High School, his parents, and most definitely his father, he the one who purchased the gun for him on November the 27th. They need to be brought up on charges as well. They need to be held accountable. The parents need to be held accountable for letting a child bring a gun to school where we all know if our child is responsible. If we have children, we all know if we have responsible children or not. Okay? And especially if we know if we have if our child is responsible enough to hold a weapon. Some kids are not even responsible enough to take the initiative to clean their rooms. So let alone you put a gun in the hand or in reach of certain kids. Come on. So I'm trying to figure out, why did the father feel the need that he had to purchase a gun for his 15-year-old son? And I can't wrap my head around that. And then you buy your son a semi-automatic weapon. .15 magazine. I'm trying to figure out, why did you buy? What forced you to buy your son that? And 2 things. Did you know of your son having any problems in school? Was he being bullied? Is your child a hothead? If so, those are all the wrong reasons to even purchase a 15-year-old a gun. If you knew that if he was a hothead and if he was being bullied, those, you know. Another thing that came to mind is like some of these parents, they need to stop sacrificing their children and allowing and buying these guns for your child and making your child go out here and do your dirty work. Because that came to me, because some of these incidents that happen sometimes, and all these incidents that happen over the years, and you hearing that these kids are getting the guns from their parents. And I'm asking, why aren't these parents locking these guns away, these weapons? Why are they in reach of these children? Why do your child even know where the weapon is? He shouldn't know where the weapon is, you know? And so it goes to make me think, like, what are you setting your child up to do your dirty work? So you purchase a gun and it's like, hey, you put the gun there and you walk away with hopes that he takes or she takes that gun to school or out in the public anywhere and just do what an irresponsible kid would do. And then ultimately taking lives of others and then taking their own lives, their freedom, if anything. Yeah, the parents need to be brought. The parents need to be brought in. They need to be held accountable because, and I think all parents need to be held accountable for their young, for their minor children, for whatever they do. At least somebody say, "Oh no, I shouldn't be accountable for what my child does." No, if he or she is a minor, the parents should be held accountable for things that their child do. You know, especially in an instance like this, bringing guns to school. That's just my personal opinion. Doesn't have to be yours. My personal opinion. If your child, you should be knowing what your child is doing. You cannot hide behind work and hide behind things and not tapping in with your child. It's all about communication, conversation with your child and seeing what's going on, how their day going, what happened today, paying attention to your child. Because if you could just stop for a minute and pay attention, you may can catch some signs of some things. And we got to keep it real. You know if something is not right and something is weird, especially for the mothers. If you birthed your child, you know your child. Okay? You know your child. If something is off, if you feel like something is off, something is off. Okay? You're a parent. You've been on this earth a lot longer than a child. They can't hide everything from you. So we have to tap in with the children and put your eyes on them. Look them in the eye. See what's going on with them. Take a ride with them. Take a walk with them. Sit down and just talk to them. Figure out what's going on, how their school day going, what's going on in school. Talk to them on a regular. Like it should be a daily thing, like just checking in and asking questions. You know, just checking the temperature on your child always to see how they're feeling. A lot of this stuff can be combat with parent to child. Like I said, don't have to be Bible, just my strong opinion, you know. And another thing is like, when is this going to stop? Oxford High School, even it was said by the authorities, they didn't have metal detectors in the school. They didn't have metal detectors in school, none whatsoever. And time again, I say this: put metal detectors in the school. That is one of the ways that you're gonna combat this situation. Because if these students know there's no metal detectors in the school, they can just walk right on in with a weapon. Nobody's checking them. You don't see anything. But if there's metal detectors, they're gonna think twice. Now, I don't know, you may have incidents out in the parking lots or what have you. Okay, those are things that you can't. But I mean, actually bringing it into the school, that won't happen. That won't happen. You know? So I don't understand what is the problem. I'm trying to understand when, like, throughout this pandemic, the federal government has gave so much money is putting money into these states for education. I'm trying to figure out, okay, who's gonna take the lead, who's gonna step up and take that money that they're getting these states and start putting it to frivolous things and put it to something, to some real use. Putting security in the school, metal detectors, paying for security, all the money that's being shelled out from the federal government for the pandemic, for the education. Why hasn't none of these schools yet put metal detectors? Every incident that this has happened, you don't hear of no metal detectors. I'm gonna explain something to y'all. There's a lot of schools up north. There's schools on the West Coast too. That they have, and in the Midwest, I believe too. Some Midwest states. There's metal detectors. And guess what? I know for sure up north, there's metal detectors. If they don't have metal detectors, they have wands. If a gun comes into school, it's going to get stopped. That's where it's going to stop at, right at the metal detector. It ain't going to come through those school doors because they got metal detectors. You don't hear too much of those incidents in schools in Jersey and in New York, and there's high crime there as well. You don't hear those instances like that, or even in Philadelphia, you don't hear them because they have security. They have metal detectors, big metal detectors like you see in the airports, going through the TSA. Yes, they do. And the schools, the students will have lines outside to get in the school because they're getting checked by the metal detector. Yeah. Some may say, oh, this is crazy. No, you need it. We can no longer continue to keep going on like this and keep allowing how many more children have to die? How many more children have to die before somebody just wakes up, before the education system just wakes up and get their fucking thumb out of their asses, man. These kids are dying for no reason. Kids are coming to school to study, to learn, to enjoy high school. These students that passed away, that got killed at Oxford High School, these were student athletes. These were student athletes, beloved children. People around their community loved them. One of the children, I was reading the story, one of them had a job. The people at the job loved them. I mean, it was beloved. One of the students was a football star, and they got a petition done up going around, and they're thinking that student was so beloved at Oxford High, one of the football players that got killed, that they wanted to name the football stadium after him. These are innocent children that's just loving their life, enjoying high school, and just enjoying their time, and then they just get gunned down. Nobody protected them. There was no protection. Just sad, man. Just sad. It's just sad. I'm just trying to stay on point with my notes here. You know, and this talks about, putting guns in the hands of teachers, allowing teachers to carry guns. No, the teacher shouldn't carry a gun. The teacher is in this class to teach. Why do a teacher need to worry about having a gun in the drawer of the school? That's not the teacher's job. The teacher's not a marksman. The teacher is an educator. That's what they're, educators. They're not there to be shooting. Pay for security. Pay for the security in these schools. The federal government has given up too much money during this pandemic. Some states haven't even got the full funding yet. It hasn't even all come. Some states got 50%. Some states and counties around this country has got 50%. May not even got 100% of their federal funding for the COVID relief for education. They haven't even got all of their funding yet, but they got enough that they can go every county in every state around this country has gotten some form of federal funding for their education system or program. Put the money to the security. I have yet to hear anybody say it. You want to know what's so crazy? I was listening to one of the officials talk in the press conference after the Oxford shooting. They prayed I didn't catch the lady's name. She's praising the sheriffs. She's praising the officers for going in and doing a good job. The sheriff was praising his guys for just going right in the way they trained them. They trained them not to sit outside during an active shooter. They trained them to go right to the shooter. So they're applauding and patting each other, giving pats on the back. You know, they're talking about who did a great job. That's great. You're paid to do that job there. But what's the point of training people to hide and barricade themselves, but don't train them, but don't make sure that they get security and metal detectors to fully combat the situation and really help and eliminate the guns and weapons being brought into the school, the place of higher of education. Like, why isn't this even spoken about? So much so, the lady during the press conference, the lady says, one of the officials say, yeah, well, I'm making a recommendation to see if we can get some mental health, doctors in, so we can tend to the students. I'm gonna make a recommendation for that, and we can pull from the COVID fund for the education. I stood at the screen and I was looking like, what? So that's fine. You need that, but once you make if you're making recommendations, make a recommendation to get some metal detectors and security throughout your schools in Michigan. How about that? You know what I'm saying? How about that? I want to bet you, and if I'm wrong, I want to bet you. I bet you in Detroit. I bet you down in Detroit. I bet you Detroit has metal detectors in their high schools. I want to bet that they got metal detectors in their high schools. I want to bet, and I don't even know this offhand. I haven't even did the research on it, but I want to bet you they do. You know, people want to keep their school pure, and they don't want that look. They don't want it to look that way, like, oh man, and making it look like, I guess they feel like, oh, it's gonna take away from the look of their school. It's gonna make kids scared, or it's gonna make. No, it should make kids scared that if you bring a weapon into school, we find it, you know what's going to happen to you. You have to send a warning. You have to put some type of blockade up. You can't just leave it open like that. You can't operate no more like this. There's too much of this going on. I just read how many incidents have happened. Gun violence, how many incidents? Let's go back to it. I just read how many in 2021 there were at least 144 incidents of gunfire on school grounds, 20 resulting in 28 deaths and 86 injuries. 2021 ain't even over. We still got 3.5 weeks. We ain't over. All right, so let me go on some more here. Because I don't want to lose my my space here, and I want to make sure I'm staying on point. Just bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. So Yeah, it's just a shame. It's just a whole shame that those students had to lose their life in that high school, and it's a shame that this is consistently happening every single month. We got to think about something here, people. It's December. Ever since September, when school got back, when everybody was in school by September, because some parts of the country the kids go back in August or whatever. So by September, you had already had around this country. I mean, I had already read about 3 school shootings by September of 2021. School just starting. I had already heard about 3 school shootings. And it's a shame. It's a shame. Inside of the schools, it's a shame. And it's like no one's stepping up. These government officials, nobody, everybody know what to do. It needs to be reformed with these guns. It needs to be like better legislation put in place. Certain states that allow children to carry, minors to be able to get gun permits, they should not have it. I don't give a hell if it's for hunting or nothing. They shouldn't have it. That's just how I feel, because it's getting out of control now. It's out of control. People are buying their kids weapons, knowing that their kids are hotheads, knowing that their kids are not responsible enough, they're not mature enough to be having these weapons. Some of these people, they're getting guns for kids, and their kids don't even respect them. But you're buying a weapon for them. They don't even. They buying weapons for their children, and their children don't even respect them. So now you have this child, this 15-year-old boy here, the shooter in Oxford High School, 15-year-old kid. Now he's going to prison for the rest of his life. His mom and dad may go to jail for the rest of their life, or majority of it. Now a whole family's wiped out because of stupid decisions. Stupid decisions like no one's not paying attention to the news. You're not seeing what's going on in the news, or are you just setting your child up to do your dirty work? Because I'm starting to think that when I hear these situations and these kids have these guns, and I'm trying to figure out why isn't a weapon locked up in a safe place? Why does the child know exactly what a weapon at? And what makes them feel comfortable to take that gun out the house, and they don't even fear their parents enough to say, oh, I don't think I should take this out the house. They taking it out the house. There was an incident in my daughter's school. She's just in the 5th grade. Kid brings a weapon to school, brings a gun to school, brings drugs to school. Like, what is going on here? And this is becoming a weekly thing. Every time I look at my emails, I'm seeing all of these different, if it's not the gun violence, now what we have going on, you have superintendents around the country getting fired, they're stealing money. All around the country, school superintendents are getting fired since the same thing. It's like running neck and, well, the superintendent's getting fired or quitting. Nah, that rate is a little higher. Now, I couldn't even find the numbers on that, but I can tell you right now, at least every week since August, there's been superintendents getting fired or quitting, and it's been alarming. I can tell you right now, every week of November of 2021, superintendents around the country are been quitting and getting fired every week. The latest here right now is a superintendent in Hudson City, Ohio, stepping down. And a lot of these instances, these superintendents are getting fired because parents are just not having it anymore. They're not happy, and they're not pleased with these school superintendents, the way they're running their schools. They're not happy, so the parents are going and getting them out of here. Another thing, it's been issues with the critical race theory. So principals have been getting fired for that. You got superintendents stealing money, getting caught stealing the funds. I mean, it's all types of stuff going around, and you can just Google yourself, and you will find, and you will see every week of this school year so far of 2021 school year, there have been superintendents getting fired or quitting. Ever since they came back off of remote learning, these superintendents have been getting out of here. They've been letting them go. So it's just a whole shitstorm going on in the education system. I mean, it all around the country. It's just a full-on shitstorm. I mean, you got teachers, there's shortages of teachers all around the country. You have, just the wildest things going on in the school. Like I reported about the incident that went on in the school when the students were giving the faculty members lap dances during a pep rally. Just in Kentucky, in Hazard, Kentucky. I mean, everything that you can think of is pretty much the schools around the country are like turning into the streets, like the streets in your worst neighborhoods. It's like all types of stuff is going on, and it's like, man, when enough is enough? When are these people with the violence inside of these schools? Students can't even feel safe with going to school and just getting an education and enjoying their time in high school, or young kids. You got young kids coming to school, kindergartners, third graders coming to school with guns. How and why? Where are these weapons? Why are these young children able to get their hands on these weapons like that? So it leads me to believe that even the adults, they need their license taken away as well, because they're not responsible enough and wise enough to know, hey, let me put this gun up. I don't want my son or my daughter to get a hand of it. Oh, hey, I got little young ones running around here. There's so many instances over the years of young kids shooting themselves and killing themselves, or young kids, they don't even know. They think it's a toy. They come and they're shooting another little kid. They're playing around. They don't even know. 6 and 7 year olds shooting and killing themselves or shooting and killing someone else. Some of these people do not need weapons. They're just as bad as a juvenile. Some people are not wise enough and smart enough. And I feel like a lot of things should go on before they give these weapons out. People really need to get some serious testing before they're able to carry a weapon. You should have to take a test, really, a mental test, before you're able to get a gun license. Because an idiot, as we can see, an idiot can just go get them a license if they never been in trouble before. They don't have no felony crimes or nothing. Yeah, they could go get them. They could go get a license. But just because they don't have a felony, it don't mean they the smartest on the earth either. Some of these people can't even tell their hand from their ass. Some of these people can't even read well, but somehow they're able to go out here and they get them these weapons, and all they thinking is stupidity. I mean, you just see what some of these people are doing when they have these weapons. What are they doing? The decisions they're making. Sometimes you like, who's worse? The person who has no license to carry a weapon, or the person who has the license to carry the weapon? Who's worse? Because it's now the person who has the license is making the same dumbass decisions as someone who don't have the license. Just don't make no sense to me. and all the senseless acts going on, people losing their lives. You have people running around, you know, people doing wrong with these weapons, and then you have people out here protesting about, well, they're trying to take away our rights. If we allow them to take away our rights of using our bearing arms, no. You need to get to the ones who are doing the dumb shit that got the weapons that's putting your rights to bear arms in jeopardy. That's who you need to check, because they're running around doing all of this goofy, dumb shit, not using their brain. The end result is there's going to be some changes with all of this. Nothing stays the same, because it's recklessness right now. It's just reckless. And there's too many students today that are losing their lives. These children, innocent children, just losing their lives, man. These kids just go to school to learn and have fun and enjoy their lives, and with hopes, all of those children, those young kids that got killed at Oxford High School, are reading about them, and all of those 4 students were planning to go to college, man. Planning to go to college, planning to do something with their life, planning to add on to the society. You know, they'll never have that chance now. Their parents don't have a child. The holidays are coming. It's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. It's like, when does it stop, man? You can't, once again, before I wrap up, put metal detectors in these schools. What is so hard about that? What point is it training faculty and staff members on how to barricade themselves in a classroom, how to take cover, but don't put metal detectors to help combat the whole situation. Just like half-assing it, you know, and then ultimately, again, the students are being sacrificed. When all of this could be prevented, man. All of it. I don't understand how we can go through airports, TSA. Nobody complains about, well, people complain about it, but how the airport have the security they have, and making sure everybody can get on a freaking plane, and nobody's on a plane with a weapon. And if anybody even makes a gesture or a noise as if they want to start a riot on the plane, they're kicking them off. If they can kick you off in midair, they will kick you off in the midair. But they make sure if you cause a ruckus on the plane, yeah, the next airport that's around, they're gonna land and you getting off. Yeah. But we got students that are going to school to learn that can't even be protected. They can't even put metal detectors in the schools. They shortage of security. But you can go to an airport and you got TSA, you got lines of them. You got whole metal detector, they can see right through your body. You got all of this for a freaking airport security. You have all of this for an airport, but for the school system, we can't get that for the school systems. We have a real problem in this country. We have a problem in this country, and our priorities are all jacked up in this country. When schools can't even put metal detectors in their school system, within their school system. But you can take a plane, you can go in the airport and feel more secure in the airport than you would in some of these high schools around this country. That is a crying shame. That is a crying shame. All to get on a plane in these high schools have hundreds, thousands of students. Nothing protecting them. Somebody could just walk on in. Student could just walk on in today, have a sawed-off shotgun, and just or a semi-automatic weapon, whatever type of gun, it don't matter, and they can walk in and just start ringing off shots. Hey, I'm at my locker with my back turned, just getting my books out, or I'm putting my book bag in the locker. I don't know what's going on. Boom! All I know, I just got hit. I just got knocked down. I might be dead or fighting for my life, but didn't have no protection. Another student just walked in right off the street with his daddy or his mama or his daddy's gun. And wiped a bunch of students off this earth in a matter of 5 minutes. It's a crying shame, man. We gotta do better. We gotta do better. That's all I'm saying. That's my time, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, I want to say peace and blessings to all that was affected, all the students that had to endure that horrific scene at Oxford High School in Oakland County, Michigan. Thoughts and prayers go out to all involved. And I just pray and hope that they get the attention that they need to address any stress and or anything, any anxieties, depression. I hope they get all those students and faculty members as well get the attention that they need. And I hope that this sends a message, a clear message of the time is now. Across America, get the metal detector, protect these children. The time is now. You can't continue to keep waiting. These kids are dying. The school year isn't even over yet. This year, I should say, isn't even over yet. In 2021, you already had 144 incidents, gun violence on the campuses, 28 deaths, 86 injuries around this country. When are we going to do what's right by these children and stop putting greed and other agendas before the safety of these children? Because it's going to continue to happen. It's going to continue to happen until something gets done. Every time it happens, we come on and say the same thing. Oh, we're so sorry. Oh, this hurts the community. Oh, this hurts this, that, the third. But nobody's talking about doing what's right. So much so, like I said, you had one of the officials come on and it just blew my mind. I just looked at her and she didn't say nothing. She said, oh, I'm going to make recommendations to see if we can pull from the COVID relief fund for our education and get grief counseling. And I said, okay, that's fine, but you're not going to talk about getting metal detectors? Not even in this school where it just happened. We're not going to talk about that. I was just floored because no one wants to address the real problem. The game changer is putting those metal detectors in these schools. I mean, hell, get a wand or something. Get some security guards and get some wands or something. Jesus Christ, do something. I wouldn't suggest the wands, especially if you got over 1,000 students in your school. I would definitely say, get you the full-fledged metal detectors, man, that these kids can walk through and make sure they're working accurately and you continue to get a maintenance too. You know, this thing, I mean, that's the one way you're going to combat it. Come on. Nobody's going to say that. Student lives matter, man. That's all I can say. Teachers' lives matter in this situation. Listen. That's my time, ladies and gentlemen. I thank y'all for watching Space Invaders TV. Make sure you tell a friend, Make sure you share it. Share this information. It costs you nothing. It's free. Subscribe, share it, like it. Leave comments. No judgment zone. I would like to see the comments. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all have a good evening. Once again, this is Space of Edits TV. I'm your guy Rashawn, aka Looker. Next week, I got a great show coming up with you for you guys next week. Gonna have my co-host back with me, my cousin Cuddy Fox, and my friend of our family here, Dillion. They're gonna sit in. We got another great show coming up for y'all. A great topic too. Something that's touching and affecting almost every household in this country. But we'll talk about it next week. I'm your guy, Rashawn, aka Look at this Space of Edits TV, and I'm out.